This is 10 Nintendo Switch 2 eShop games worth buying. My game review video series where I dive into the eShop to find 10 incredible experiences buried in amongst the sea of shovelware and questionable content. Also, I haven't said this in a while, but to clarify the rules and context of the eShop series that I do, it needs to be a game that's only on the eShop. I think the reason why, the idea that I had from the start, was that these games get buried in the eShop. They release, and then sometimes they just get forgotten about. And this video is actually filled with Switch 2 games. Every single one of these games has a Nintendo Switch 2 edition version, upgrade, or is exclusively Switch 2. I'll let you know which is which as we go through the list. If this video helps you out or you enjoy it, maybe consider supporting it with a like or a comment or a subscribe. You know how close we are to 2 million? Could be a Christmas miracle. Okay, let's get started. I have played a lot of Ball X Pit. It's a fast-paced fantasy roguelike where you shoot a series of different balls towards monsters that are constantly marching towards you. If you know me, you know that I love a good roguelike. It's one of my new favorite genres, and I just can't get enough. You start a run by picking a character, and each character starts with a different ball type, like the warrior who has a bleed effect ball, or the achy finger who has a burn ball. The game controls like a twin-stick shooter. You aim and shoot your special balls as well as a bunch of smaller baby balls. And as you blast away, you unlock tons of extra balls and abilities. And not only do these seem never-ending, like ghost balls, poison, wind, ones that zap enemies in a line, but on top of that, you can then fuse abilities together, creating a hybrid of two different flavors of ball, probably shouldn't say flavors, into one new ball. And this new souped-up ball will have its own new look and a new name. And in doing so, actually frees up a space in your inventory for another ball. I've said balls probably too many times. And then depending on your balls and your abilities will depend on how well you do in the boss fight when you finally get to it. This is all the main mode with several characters and stages to unlock, but there's also a whole side mode that acts as a hub world. You farm and mine resources, and in between runs you can build structures for in-game bonuses or houses for new characters to join the team. Ball X Pit, it's a very different kind of game, but it's unique and it's a perfect pick up and play.
Hey, I need to interrupt this video because I have some sad news. You see, Tiny Tim here, it's the holiday season, and unfortunately, he can't afford any video games. It is his fault, though. His MacBook was hacked because he didn't have Surfshark VPN and the hacker stole all his money. So really, it's his own fault. Just get him out of here. Let's talk about Surfshark VPN. What is a VPN, you might be asking, if you somehow don't know in the year of our Lord 2025. It's almost his birthday, too. A VPN is a virtual private network, which is exactly how it sounds. It gives you a virtual private space to browse online because I don't know if you know this, everyone can see everything. Okay, maybe not everyone, but your IP service provider definitely can. So why don't you get Surfshark? Create a secure tunnel around your network so no prying eyes can see in. Like if you go to a public space like a coffee shop or an airport, use public Wi-Fi, oh my lord, you're at risk. But I got good news for you. Tiny Tim landed in a swimming pool. He's totally fine. Also, when you get a VPN, there's some nice things you can do with it. Like if you go to Netflix or YouTube, you can unblock restricted content or get full access to libraries that you already pay for. Once you're done watching Stranger Things, you can go on Australian Netflix and watch whatever those weirdo wackos have going on. Surfshark VPN doesn't keep a track history record of nothing. There's 24/7 customer support. There's over 4,500 servers in a bunch of different countries. One account can be used on all of your devices. So if you want to try out Surfshark VPN, now is the time. You can click the link in the description below or go to surfshark.com/BeatEmUps to get 4 extra months of Surfshark. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. I want to appreciate Surfshark VPN for helping me out during the holiday season and sponsoring this video, and thank all of you for clicking my links when I have them. And I'd also like to thank Tiny Tim. Yeah, it was a stunt, and I never actually kicked him. So, well, no, it's the same kid. Don't look at this.
Oh,
okay,
no,
bye.
I just made my last payment.
I know I briefly talked about Power Wash Simulator 2 in my Cozy Games video, but there I was more focused on how relaxed the game made me, and here I want to actually dive into the game and give it a better review and recommend it in one of my eShop videos. It's only on Switch 2, which is probably for the best because the first game on Switch 1 was a little bit of a mess, ironically. But that isn't a problem here at all, with the textures looking really nice nice and resolutions at 1080p or 1440p, and then a really great frame rate targeting 60 FPS. I think any game these days that end with the word simulator gets a bad impression from gamers because you automatically think of the just slug of shovelware and random simulator games that really phone it in. But Power Wash Simulator is very much tongue-in-cheek while offering an actual great experience. I mean, it's beloved by many gamers. It features all the bells and whistles that a cleaning service might offer, tons of different pressure cleaner types, heads and nozzles, lengths and sizes, soaps and chemicals. Every time I start a new level or a new clean, I look at how much work I have to do, and I think there's no way I'm gonna do all of this. Like, I have an actual house to clean. I'm not gonna sit here and clean this whole house. And yet, every time I do, I get sucked into it, I can't stop playing, and it's so satisfying to get to the end and look at it. And the thing I love the most about the sequel is that there's unlimited soap. And the game also offers online and split screen co-op, so you can finally team up and wax down with a friend. Why does everything sound so sensual? Now, if we can get the developers just to add mouse support, this would be perfect. I feel like mouse support is already being forgotten about, just like the camera. There is a mouse, and your game could benefit from it. Publishers and developers have just been dropping stuff on the Switch 2 eShop out of nowhere with no warning. Like, we had 2 giant upgrades for games recently, Red Dead and Skyrim. With Red Dead Switch 2 version bringing an incredible 60 FPS, 1440p, higher level of detail, 16 times anisotropic filtering, improved shadows, reduced pop-in, faster load times, and HDR. While Skyrim's port brings us about 5 seconds of controller input lag, glitchy visuals, and a locked 30 FPS, so, you know, what's Bethesda doing? But one of the other really cool surprises was the whole ass game Tomb Raider dropped on the Switch 2 eShop out of nowhere. I actually really loved this reboot when it released because it reminded me of the Uncharted games, which had just kind of wrapped up around that time, and I loved those, and Uncharted reminded me of Tomb Raider that I played back in the day and I loved when I was a kid. And now that it's on Switch 2, we get a native 1080p full resolution, very stable 60 FPS, and all around just an incredible port and experience on the console, whether you're playing docked or handheld. They also brought this game to Switch 1, and I've not seen anything about that version, and I haven't played it, so I can't totally recommend it. All I can tell you is the Switch 2 port is pretty phenomenal. This Tomb Raider is mostly an action-adventure game, like Uncharted, as I said, navigating environments and solving mechanical and environmental puzzles while fighting enemies and avoiding traps. The puzzles are actually really enjoyable and well thought out, with some even extending across multiple rooms and areas within a level. You also have an open world attaching it all together, with hunting for supplies and upgrading equipment and weapons becoming a key part of progression. And this is a full retelling of Lara Croft's adventure, so it's a perfect place to pick up a Tomb Raider game if you've never played one. LEGO Voyagers comes from the makers of LEGO Builder's Journey, and it's a 2-player co-op adventure about friendship and joy. I'm really loving how many of these 2-player co-op games that you need to play in co-op. Ever since It Takes Two, this genre has exploded, and I love to see it because I really felt like these experiences were lacking in gaming. And not only that, they always add the friend pass like LEGO Voyagers does, where as long as you have one copy of the game, the person you're playing with can download the game for free to play with you. Or you can just play it couch co-op style like Kim and I did. I will say this game wasn't exactly what I expected. I mean, when they say the game is about feeling what it would be like to be a 1x1 Lego brick in a rich atmospheric world while solving puzzles and building a friendship, they really mean it because that is the game. You don't do a ton here in this shorter 4-hour adventure. You can roll around and jump, attaching yourself to other pieces and moving those around with you too. There's some fairly casual environmental puzzles to solve, including a lot of gaps that need makeshift bridges. Also, fun fact, a guy called West 3DP painstakingly made an entire Google spreadsheet that contains every one of my eShop videos and every single game I've reviewed, alongside some other information and stats about the game, which is really awesome, and he's still updating it even to this day. Hello, I know you're watching. And I decided to add in some fun facts to this video using his list. And the fun fact for this one is it's actually the first LEGO game that has ever been in one of these videos. I don't know how we went 360 games without one, here we are. So I really enjoy putting games into these videos that are $5 or under. And next Google spreadsheet fun fact is apparently in the last 350 games, 20 of them have been $5 or under. I don't remember that many being that cheap. That's a good portion, actually. I thought it was a rare occurrence. Here's the next one, Exit 8. I played it on a Twitch stream and I really enjoyed it for what it was. It's a simple concept. You have this subway walkway and all you need to do is walk through it. It sounds easy, huh? Go on, you do it. You do it. You'll find a lot of things in this hallway, like a man that walks towards you, posters on the wall, doors in the hall, and other objects around. And yeah, everything looks normal. And then you'll leave this exit 1 hallway and head into the exit 2 hallway, which should look identical to the first hallway. And if it doesn't, run back immediately. The aim of this game is to spot any anomalies on your next walkthrough. And if you do, you need to leave quickly or else the whole game will reset and you'll be back to exit 1. The goal obviously is to get to exit 8 and escape what I can only assume is a terrifying purgatory. It can be as simple as a door handle being too high on the door or a missing light overhead, or it can be as terrifying as eyes on a poster moving as you walk by, or a demonic face imprinted on the ceiling, or water rushing at you from down the other end of the hallway. It's a very simple concept, but it's very well done. And it's funny how familiar I became with this hallway by the time I beat the game. It also has really nice resolution, textures, and runs at 60 FPS. And it even had a movie made about the game that released earlier this year. And a sequel, not to the movie, to the game, Platform 8. But that doesn't have a Switch 2 version, so don't worry about that. Unless you want to. Yeah, just to be clear, when I recommend a game like Squirrel with a Gun, which I know you might already be hooked just by the title and concept alone, but hear me out. When I recommend a game that's $20 like this, it's the same recommend I'd give to a game like Goat Simulator. The game itself, it's a little technically bad, but it's so funny and it's so much fun. It's a nutty sandbox shooter and a puzzle platformer. In a weird way, it's sort of set up like a traditional Nintendo platformer, with each house and certain locations being treated as its own location with collectibles and upgrades to find hidden within. And some can be easily spotted, while others are more secret and hidden behind challenges. The prized gold acorns is what you're looking for here. It's kind of like the star in Mario or the puzzle piece in Banjo. Not only are you skilled with weapons, but you can also take enemies down with your bare paws, snapping necks and blowing up grills at a cookout. It's fun finding the weird ways that the game will reward you with acorns. Like when you blow up that grill, if you take the raw meat that you've now cooked and give it to the people at the table waiting for food, you'll get an acorn. You can also indefinitely double jump by using weapon recoil and unlock adorable outfits around the world. Look, again, the game is technically very bad, but it is fun. I guess the best way to explain this is if you go to Steam, it's got very positive reviews, a 9 out of 10, but IGN gave it a 6 out of 10. That'll tell you everything you need to know about Squirrel with a Gun. The best way that I could describe Skate Story is imagine the gameplay of Tony Hawk. If it was a more linear adventure with you blasting down mystical atmospheric straightaways, dodging and ollieing over objects and completing puzzles. You play as a demon in the underworld, made out of glass and pain. The devil has given you a skateboard and a deal. Skate to the moon and swallow it and you shall be free. There's over 70 skate tricks to unlock and improve, skate trials to level you up, and you can learn new tricks, get new gear. There's also this incredible psychedelic soundtrack that pumps while you play. It's by a New York artist named Blood Cultures, and this is such a standout experience. I immediately noticed the music as a highlight when I first started playing. It just all looks so cool and stylish, with fast-paced gameplay that has you making quick last-second decisions and flashy tricks. It's really hard not to feel like a badass when you pull off a run perfectly. Just try not to hit anything at all. Don't even stub your toe, because you're made out of glass and pain. I've been playing and adoring Dispatch over the last few days. I picked it up and I've almost beat it already. One of my all-time favorite games is Telltale's Walking Dead, and Dispatch takes it to a whole new level, giving you this brilliantly written superhero workplace comedy with incredible storytelling, pacing, and even a cool micromanaging gameplay element where you dispatch the heroes to take calls and to save people. The whole adventure feels like a playable episode of Invincible in both its concept and its animation quality. quality. I can't gush about this game enough, which is why I've shoehorned it into this Switch video when the game isn't even on Switch. I'm sorry if I got your hopes up, although I just feel like it is going to happen. But no, the reason why I bring it up is because I've been playing another game in that genre, and it's Goodnight Universe. Another playable movie type adventure brought to you by the devs of Nice Team and the same publisher of the Telltale games I love so much, Skybound Games. And while it is tough to compete with Dispatch, Goodnight Universe also has overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, and I would be flat out lying if I didn't tell you that I have cried a couple of times while playing this game. Doesn't help that the game is about a 6-month-old baby, and I played it when I had a 6-month-old baby, but it's a very sweet story. You play as a 6-month-old baby who suddenly realizes you can fully understand and comprehend everything around him. He has no way of communicating with his family or telling them how he feels, and every time he tries to, it just comes out as baby babble. It's not just a simple, cute story though about a baby who loves his family. You start to discover you have certain magical powers. You begin to wonder who you actually might be, what's going on, and why a secret tech company is trying to baby snatch you. The game has exceptional writing and great performances. I found myself hooked to the whole experience right from the start, but I will caveat and say that I love this genre. So you gotta like this kind of thing, but if you do, it's a good one. I wanna talk about the BeatEmUp Absolum next. But before I do, and West, I do not want you to take this as a challenge, but I kind of wish that the spreadsheet had the genres of the games as well as all the other information that you've put on there. Because I'd love to know how many times I've actually reviewed and put a beat 'em up on the list. I'm sure it's happened a bunch, but notoriously, I don't actually like beat 'em ups. Which is why, when I do find one I really like and I recommend one that I dig, it's because it's really good. And it does something that defies the genre and builds on it. You need to have a little bit more depth and meat to the experience for me to enjoy it. Games like Scott Pilgrim, or in this case, Absolum. To be fair, .emu have been redefining this genre over recent years with games like Marvel Cosmic Invasion, TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Streets of Rage 4, even the new Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. So the quality of Absolum should come at no surprise as it's brought to you by, you guessed it, .emu. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up with multiple character classes, each with its own unique style of combat and abilities. They balance every character really well, and it actually helps the game feel vastly different depending on who you're playing as. Whether you want ranged or close combat, sword or magic, fast or slow, there's so many playstyles. And it's also a roguelike, which, you know, you take one of my least favorite genres and mash it with one of my favorite ones, I'm gonna meet you in the middle. You play the game in runs, and at the start of each one, you equip rituals, which are passive abilities and bonuses, and as you clear enemies and areas, you unlock more. Eventually losing everything if you die. You know how a roguelike works by now. The path ahead is randomized and features side quests and diverging paths. I really like the cartoony art style animation, so whether you want to play this one on your own or blast through it with a friend in co-op, it's one of the more in-depth, interesting, and genre-defying beat-em-up games. It's one of the best ones. Divinity Original Sin 2 released on the eShop out of nowhere. You know how I said that devs and publishers are just dropping games out of nowhere? Yeah, they just dropped a Switch 2 version of this game on the eShop. Okay, cool. Divinity frickin' 2 is the 2018 Metacritic must-play turn-based combat RPG game from Larian Studios. Yeah, the same studios that brought us Baldur's Gate 3. Somehow, Larian Studios are promising an even bigger and better experience out of Divinity 3. I don't even know how that's going to be possible, but in the meantime, you can dive back in to Divinity 2 so you're all caught up before the new one. Divinity Original Sin 2 is an action role-playing game, which is essentially if Dungeons & Dragons was a fully represented video game. You build out your own character, pick your look, your race, your class, and then either on your own or up to 4 players, you set out on a grand adventure, completing quests, exploring the world, interacting with a large variety of characters with branching conversational trees, and choices and decisions that impact the story and the world. The best part about Larian's games, this game and Baldur's Gate 3, is the flexibility in the experience. The quest system is so flexible, allowing you to approach any quest in multiple different ways. Often, if you can think it, you can do it, which is a really cool feeling to have while playing a game. There's an engaging and in-depth turn-based combat, offering so much choice even how you attack or don't attack if you'd rather talk your way out of a situation. And this update added improved visuals, anti-aliasing, and 60 FPS performance. It just needs mouse support. I thought we would get games like this because of the mouse. I don't think people are using the mouse. Can I give a hot take? I haven't used it one time. I finished Metroid Prime 4, didn't use the mouse one time, but I want it. I don't know why I want it. Now, Larian, as it's clear you have a Switch 2 dev kit. Baldur's Gate 3. And that is another 10 eShop games worth buying. I'd love to know, one, what game are you gonna grab, if any, from this video? Tell me down below. Two, what have I missed? And I actually know I've missed a lot. Usually when I make these videos, I feel like I've done a pretty good job at staying up to date, but there are games that barely made it off the list. So I'm already loading up another video and I would love your suggestions for what I should put on it. I wanna say quickly, because we're at the end of the video, people that don't care have already left, so I wanna let you know while we're here. I love making these videos. I do a lot of different things on this channel. Some things can be considered a series, I guess, like the weird accessories with Kim, but nothing has a structure like these do. Nothing has numbered episodes, like a show, like this is episode 36. What I'm saying is, I just love that we have this. I feel like these videos have their own little cult following, and I love every time I think now's the time to make one, I know the structure, I know what to do. I gotta go play 10 games, maybe more, and I gotta write a review and I film it. So I hope you're still enjoying them, because I don't think I'm ever gonna stop doing them. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video. I appreciate all of you so much for watching me throughout the year, and I can't wait to see you for more content this year and next year. You're awesome, I love you. Now that I buttered you up, don't forget about the BeatEmUps Satisfied grip. I'll leave links for it down below. It really does make playing the Switch a lot better. Okay, I love you, bye.